Hi everyone, welcome to our All About Diabetes Tech video series. My name is Emily, I'm one of the diabetes educators at Children's Minnesota, and this video is all about the Medtronic insulin pump. If you are new to insulin pump therapy, I do recommend that you watch our Pump 101 video series prior to watching this video. If you are a current pump user, feel free to jump in right now and you can learn about all that Medtronic has to offer nowadays. All right, let me get my PowerPoint up and then we will learn all things Medtronic. All righty. Almost there, here we are. Okay, first we've got our disclaimers and confidentiality protections. You can return back to this page if you want to read the details, but I will keep moving forward. So Medtronic is the pump brand. The actual pump that is on the market is called the MiniMed 770G. It looks a little something like this, and I'm also going to show you on camera. So the Medtronic 770G looks like this. I'm going to put it in front of my face. So it's about the size of a deck of cards here, and it is one of our tubed pumps. The Medtronic 770G integrates with the MiniMed Guardian Sensor 3 CGM. And the CGM is a 5 to 7 day wear sensor, and it does require calibrations at a minimum every 12 hours. If we miss a calibration, the sensor will stop working. This sensor is not approved to dose off of, so at mealtimes and for blood sugar corrections, we do have to do a manual finger stick. The Guardian sensor is a two-part system. It has a sensor, that's the part that lasts 5 to 7 days, and then the transmitter clips in on top. The transmitter lasts for a year, and then you reuse that transmitter sensor to sensor, and you charge it in between. On the screen, you can see the Guardian 3 sensor right here. It has a unique seashell shape. So in real life, it looks like this. So it's pretty small. This gray piece is that transmitter that clips in and out. And then it gets taped down with some oval tapes that you layer to keep it on your skin. The Guardian 3 sensor gets inserted by the user. You use an insertion device that looks like this, and then you reuse it from sensor to sensor. Okay. So our MiniMed 770G pump offers SmartGuard technology, and this means it offers a smart technology based off of your sensor readings. So on this pump, there are two different software systems, and what's nice is on the pump you have both systems available, and you can switch between the two as needed. The first one available is your manual mode. Manual mode is the suspend before low mode, and you can actually turn this feature on and off in manual mode, so it's very customizable. What this means is the Medtronic pump is looking at the sensor values and trends, and if you're projected to go low soon, it will completely suspend your background insulin. It suspends in 30-minute increments, and at the end of the 30 minutes, it will reevaluate your sensor value and trend, and then either suspend for an additional 30 minutes or resume. You can choose to have the pump alert you when this happens, or you can let it just do it automatically in the background. Auto mode is the hybrid closed loop software system that's available on the 770G. It is available for ages 2+, and you must be using a minimum of 8 units of a total daily dose. So what this means is both of your basal insulin and all of your boluses added up for the entire day must equal 8 units. This is just to help the algorithm in that hybrid closed loop therapy work its best. For the pump, the minimum basal rate is 0.025 units per hour. This is the smallest minimum basal rate offered on the market right now. With this, that means that you have to be on at least a half unit of basal insulin to use the pump. From there, you can increase your basal rates in 0.025 unit increments, so very tiny little increments that you can go up and down. The MiniMed 770G is completely waterproof, and it uses a AA battery to function. It has a compatible meter. It's the Accu-Check Guide Link meter. If you have an Accu-Check Guide meter already, that is not actually compatible with this pump. However, if you use the guide test strips, it's the same test strips, but the actual compatible linking meter comes from Medtronic with your pump. What's nice is when you check a blood sugar on this Accu-Check Guide Link meter, it will automatically send to the pump. So you can use that meter to calibrate your sensor or use it to dose off of for blood sugar corrections or meal boluses. There are a couple mobile apps that work with this pump. The first one is the MiniMed mobile app. This allows you to see your pump data on your phone. And then it also uploads to CareLink overnight. CareLink is their software system downloading center. If you're familiar with other systems, it's just where everything gets uploaded, and then you can enable sharing with the clinic so that we can see your pump data remotely. You can also upload your pump manually with a computer. So if you don't have a compatible phone that can use this mobile app, you can plug your pump in essentially to a computer. It just requires a USB connection. They have a CareLink Connect app. This is their following app. So you can have up to 5 people following remotely. And this is if the user, the pump user, has that MiniMed mobile app. Now with the 770G, if you are wanting to start auto mode, you do have to do a separate training for the sensor and the pump. And then you meet with the pump trainer, I think it's 4 times after that to assess how auto mode is going for you. The sensor is not a self-start system, so you do have to meet with the trainer separately for that sensor start. Okay, so let's dive further into what their hybrid closed loop algorithm looks like. How does it actually work? Every pump has a different algorithm, and so we want to pick one that works well with our lifestyle. So the hybrid closed loop system on this pump is called auto mode. And with this, we use our MiniMed Guardian Sensor 3, which we were just talking about. This is the only sensor that is compatible with the Medtronic pump to use auto mode. Now, if you are interested in just the pump itself, you can use it with any sensor on the market. It just won't integrate. You can't use any of the smart features. You have to be using the Medtronic branded MiniMed Guardian Sensor 3. For the algorithm, it is using a fixed blood sugar target of 120 to make dosing decisions. The pump will be increasing and decreasing insulin in the background automatically every 5 minutes based on that sensor value and trend arrow. And then it's looking back on your insulin use history to make decisions. It's not using your basal rate to make decisions. It's actually going off of your true pump history to make decisions. You can change the target to 150 temporarily for activity. That way it's trying to get you to stay at 150 versus at 120, which can help prevent hypoglycemia during activity. The algorithm calculates your basal rate and your correction boluses based off of that pump history. So when we're putting in your settings in your pump that we've discussed in the Pump 101 videos, those are all backup for if you're using manual mode. In auto mode, the only things we're using, I'll get to this photo in a second, the only thing that auto mode is using is your insulin to carb ratio and your insulin action time. Everything else in auto mode is based off of your pump history. So on the right, this gives a little picture as to how this algorithm is working. So you can see there is sensor data on the top half, and I'm going to zoom in so we can see this a little better. So this top half is showing our sensor data. The green line going across the middle is that blood sugar target of 120, and that's what the pump is increasing and decreasing insulin for to try to achieve that number. So you can see some black dots with a hot pink circle and a number. Those are blood sugars that were entered on the pump, and then the black line is the sensor data. Underneath here, let's see if I can get a good view. That's pretty good. underneath, you can see this squiggly kind of stalagmite looking pink line. And that is the background insulin that is increasing and decreasing. So again, it's not your basal rate, it's just the automation in the background working. So you can see that this patient around 1 p.m. started dropping quickly, and you can see that those pink vertical lines disappear. This means that the pump was automatically suspending insulin right there to help prevent or blunt a low. So you can see their blood sugar did drop, but then they did not truly go low. They did start to rise after that. At the bottom, you can see some purple little blobs, some teardrops. Those are boluses that are provided. And then the orange boxes are carbohydrates entered. So this is what a report will look like if you choose to get a Medtronic pump. This is what we will be using at your appointments to make glucose and dose changes. In auto mode, you do have to be meeting criteria to remain in auto mode. Some of the criteria are having calibrated your sensor recently. You have to have been using a certain amount of basal consistently. If your pump has been suspended for too long, it gets nervous that it's going to harm you essentially. And so it exits out of auto mode and resumes your background basal rate. Additionally, if you're running high for too long, it will exit out because it wants to safeguard against too much extra insulin being given in case there is a sensor error. In auto mode, you cannot use the extended bolus or temporary basal rate features, and you also can't provide manual boluses. Now, if you're new to pump therapy, you don't really have to worry about this. This is more so for current pump users that do manually bolus. Essentially what that means is if you enter your blood sugar and your carb count into the dose calculator, if it calculates a number that you're like, nah, I gotta get more or less than that, you can't override it and change it. So it's just kind of it's not a bad thing that you can't do that. It's just something to know about if that's something that you frequently do. In the 770G, you can switch between auto mode and manual mode, and then you can turn on and off the suspend before low feature, which is really unique that you can customize it to that level. For Medtronic, we got a couple of resources here. So we've got our Medtronic Diabetes website, which is actually pretty cool. They have this really great for kids section. So this is their basic Medtronic Diabetes website. If you click products, insulin pumps, you can see the 770G system here and click for kids. It then pops into this website where you can watch videos and learn a lot more about the 770G pump. They also have a pump simulator. So this is a mobile app that you can download and then essentially play with the pump as if it's your own. So here's a quick little video of an example. So this is a screen record of the app. So you can go in and practice bolusing, putting in a blood sugar, entering a carb count, and seeing how that bolus wizard changes your dose. So it's a pretty cool app to be able to simulate use of the actual pump. And then here are our Medtronic contacts. Lana Downs is our local representative. So if you have any questions about insurance coverage, you can reach out via email or by phone. And then Erin Rail is our local pump trainer. This is who you will meet with when you choose to start the pump and sensor. So her phone number and email is there as well. This is a very busy, so I apologize, it's a little overwhelming, but it's just a big comparison chart of these 3 brands of pumps that are currently on the market. And so right now, depending on what order you're watching the videos, you may or may not have heard of the other pumps yet. So once you've watched all 3, this is a much more helpful chart to just really visualize the differences between the pumps. Okay, that's it. That is everything I have to share with you about Medtronic. If you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to the diabetes educators, or you can reach out to the pump trainer or the representative. Thanks so much, everyone.